In this video, we're gonna make from scratch a cave game. The cave game is gonna be in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is the building blocks of the internet. Every web page, basically, that you deal with on the internet is made from some combination of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You know, there's other technologies, but that's kind of that is the base of all web development. So if you ever wanted to get into web development, this is what you would do. We're actually using it for twofold. We're using it to understand a little bit more about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We're also wanting to understand more about programming. So some computer science concepts we'll be delving into during the process of this. Now, the reason why we're doing this is so that way, the reason why we're doing it as a cave game is so that way we have a reason to learn some of these things, to learn CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to do is basically organize and detail what we want to create. And I've already done some of that. I did this in another video, so I'm just going to use this same one, even though I did the video in VB and I think one in C# and I demonstrated how to create these with classes. We're just going to do the same thing in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So really the cave game is basically a bunch of caves. Now the caves could be anything. It could be rooms, it could be regions, it could be actual caves. The idea is that you're creating a map of a structured game. And so when you create a map, then you can pretty much say what connects to what, you know, because in a game, you're basically allowing the user to go some places and not go other places. So the easiest way to do that is to create something like this cave game. So one, you get used to creating your outline of your map. Two, you get used to sketching out your user interface. And three, you get used to going to the code and making all that stuff happen with the logic and the CSS and the HTML. So right here I have these list of caves. I have cave A, B, C, and D, or C and D. And what I intend on doing is creating these caves in code and allowing the user to traverse these caves in the way that the lines show here. So you see, if I'm in cave D and I go west, I'll end up in cave A. But if I was in cave D and I go east, that door is locked. I can't go that way. Every cave has 4 doors. So what I decided to do is make all those doors either north, east, south, or west. And every cave has a title to it. So let's say this is the den, this is the garden, this is the space station, this is, you know, whatever it might be. And so they would have a title to it. Over here, even though I have the attributes of the cave, I don't have the title here, which I probably should. So here, I'm just going to put the title of the cave, A, and I think that would be the den. And then I can do the rest, or you can do the rest. Now, I do this in PowerPoint. The reason why I do this in PowerPoint is because I'm able to share it with my team or anyone else who wants to help. They get an idea of how the map works, and I can put this in my game development document or any document I'm sharing with anybody. So this is the outline we're going to make, and we're going to be referring to this as we go through the functionality of our game, because it should follow this pattern. Now, the second thing we want to do is go ahead and go over our interface design. So what I'm going to do is go here, and I have my interface design already ready to go. So really what I did was I just made these boxes here. And I have this one right here that will be the west room, the east, well, not room, the west door, the east door, the south door, and the north door. And then I'm going to have something here because initially I want this game to be more of one of those games where you read as opposed to actually move a character around, just so we can get used to creating the logic as we intended on doing when we created the interface and the logic sheet that we have over here on the map. So here I'm going to have at the top, I'm going to have grab, drop, talk, fight. We may get to these things, but by the time we get to this, you're going to get the overall idea of how this stuff works and how you can continue to develop it. And if I wanted to, instead of it saying something like this, I can have it say that plus show a video or bring up an image. You know, once you're at this level, you pretty much have the functionality of your game down. Then this is just a matter of making it look nice. But I really think that the first way we approach this is to get the items on HTML and then we arrange them in CSS, and then after that we'll go directly to JavaScript. So right now this video is past 5 minutes. Let's go to I'm gonna push this to the next video where we're gonna go ahead and get started with this project. I'll see you then.